Alright, next up is Rykan 5, the lava refineries. This is where the Lombax artifact pointed us to, so...
Don't forget your various suit, Ratchet. You are actually authorized to use it. Ha! Shots fired in Microsoft. Which is funny, because if I recall correctly, Halo was like the biggest it would ever be around 2007.
If I recall correctly, yes, between, the third game, Reach, the Wars RTS spin-off, and all the supplementary materials like the comics, the books, and the short movies, including animated ones. Anyway, you will have a couple of sequences like this in the games where you get launched onto the surface of a level with Kronk and Zephyr, and they will help you out while Towin generally tries to hack a way into security systems as a result.
That is neat, and does I wonder if maybe that's them taking some cues from Dead Zone, which also gave you AI companions.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was mentioning in Deadlock, the fact that the future saga will have an equivalent to your the two robots that you had there. I know, again, they had names and specific VAs, but their personalities were so generic that I keep forgetting about them. Kronk and Zephyr are very stereotypical, the classic cranky old people, war veterans that are too old for this shit, and they're supposed to be funny because of that, but they're more serviceable for what the games want to do.
Looking back at this, I think I can see the future Ratchet series kind of being to Ratchet what the Yamazaki Ace Attorney games are to the Shu Takumi Ace Attorney games. They are technically connected, though you can definitely tell that there are different writers at the helm.
And some returning characters, and
some returning carrying characters, some characters who still have not yet come back.
Or Ganshu, and Franziska.
And Iris, and so much more.
Well, she's in prison.
How long, though? Because keep in mind, there is quite a time gap.
I thought she was executed like the other, people found guilty.
Oh, no. She was not executed. See, she was, seen as an accomplice, but not as a murderer, essentially, and technically she wasn't even an accomplice to the murder, so while she would go to jail, hers would not be a permanent or even deathly sentence. Let me put it like this. Iris seems to be in that case where she can be until a writer wants to bring her back. But regardless, though, even without Iris, there are some other characters that are just oddly missing in the greatness step. Which is funny, because Yamazaki made a big point about bringing back a ton of characters in the Investigations games. Though, to be fair, and here's the kicker, the Investigation games take place during the few weeks in between the end of Trials and Tribulations to about a few days before the trial that will end Phoenix's career in Apollo Justice. Which I guess they...
So it doesn't really say what Edgeworth was doing during those 7 years.
It does give us a bit of an idea of why Gumshoe was acting a little way too confident during that trial where Phoenix does lose his badge, but, okay. To Yamazaki's credit, yes, his games do address what Edgeworth was doing while Phoenix lost his badge, but I can't say what he was doing now, because that would be a major spoiler. Just know, you'll eventually get your answers there. And, I will say this. I'm not someone who knocks Yamazaki. I will say this. I don't think he's the better Ace Attorney writer than Shu Takumi, but I do think he was the best man for the job of doing what was going to be the daunting task of continuing a series as heavy on story as Ace Attorney. He definitely knows his craft every now and then, and has proven himself at times, even with a few bumps in the road. Namely Investigations 1 and some aspects of Dual Destinies, even though I find myself liking Dual Destinies better than Spirit of Justice. But I digress. So, Lava World.
Yeah. which also explains a bit the thing. I will say this, again, one advantage that this game does is that it tries to remember about giving an identity to each location in order to give color, a distinct color, instead of just having the brown, gray, and yellow palette that a lot of the PS3, Xbox 360 era games had. You know, I know that the first Uncharted tried to make it a point of that by having the jungle environment, but again, for an actual proper cartoony game, yeah, this also too try to do that instead of conforming with the time. There will be still, you know, levels, like, for example, like this, it has a more yellow tint, but again, it makes sense because we're on a lava planet, and because of that we also get shades of orange and red, you know, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these sequences you can see actually tend to drag on a bit because it's basically the equivalent of a hold mode resist until the game tells you that you're good to go. So some of the future one will be sped up, so don't worry about, you know, having your time wasted. It's just better just to showcase a bit and also, you know, how my arsenal has grown. This is one of those games where I did not really needed to grind too much off screen when it comes to weapon levels, so it's actually fairly balanced.
To my memory. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me too much. From my experience, the Ratchet & Clank series is typically one that doesn't waste your time and relatively gives you the grinds that you need for the most part.
Some games, I argue, have a bit more demanding than others, and also it depends, obviously. Some of the later ones do introduce difficulty sliders, meaning that you have to potentially adjust to the punches, and in harder difficulties, obviously, it will mean that you will have to grind more.
And I'll admit, a lot of my experiences coming from most of the series anyway, not all of it, but most of this experience with this series is coming from me as a kid, where arguably as a kid you tend to have more patience for stuff in games, essentially, so who knows. Maybe some are more grindier than I remember. I just recall never feeling too much like my time was wasted. The only time I blatantly felt like that was with Dead Zone.
Redlock, yeah.
Deadlocked, yeah. Why didn't Dead Zone?
Because Dread Zone is the name of the program where you're in.
Right, yeah.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why the game was changed to Gladiator in Europe to avoid confusion.
They are admittedly similar sounding names, in which case one would wonder, why not just call her Ratchet & Clank Dead Zone now that I think about it? I guess Deadlocked is to give the idea that, oh, you're a prisoner locked up, but...
It doesn't, like he said, it doesn't even... Deadlock doesn't even work that much as an innuendo, if I had to be honest, you know?
I'm guessing the idea was that they were trying to be less of an innuendo and more, ooh, hard.
Oh my god, what are you doing here?
Well, hey there, friend. You picked a dangerous time.
Okay, are you just following us at this point?
Percival has shut down the spaceport until he gets his paws on the Lombax secret.
You will think that he's like working Secret Agent Clank and he's telling us, but no, not really. But let's check what the holograms
would be
are
fun.
for.
Son, this here is part of a highly classified weapon schematic. Tell you what, you bring me the full holoplan and I'll build you the weapon. Provided you let me keep the plans, of course. Well, looks like this series was discontinued by Gadgetron for being too dangerous.
I wonder what kind of weapon
I'm
is
beginning
this.
to like this weapon already. Sorry, sir.
I'm more surprised that Gadgetron discontinued it. They don't seem the type who care about how dangerous a weapon is as long as they can rake profit.
That should raise red flags on its own, potentially.
Well, I suppose you could use this here gyrocycle. Of course, a businessman such as myself couldn't part with it without some sort of monetary compensation. Now, careful with this thing. The Lombax I bought it from modified it with a Terra thruster. Oh, Lombaxes can't leave nothing the way it is, eh?
we're just in from Jacindu. Kirchu engineered, machine washable.
Also, yeah, I don't particularly care about these armor type. I like the chest emblem thing, but the color scheme is a bit
Yeah,
meh.
I mean, a lot of these outfits make Ratchet look like a discount Power Ranger almost.
I do like the 2 for you armor that you get for this game. You'll be able to see eventually.
Cool. I will say, definitely, from what I can recall of this game, my favorite outfit was the default one.
Eventually, I'm getting there. Don't worry. This is what I mean by the whole, ledge grabbing thing.
My best guess, they did it for the
made
immersion
it a
sake.
bit more, faster.
Ratchet, I think the ledge is big enough that you could have just walked on it.
Dude, you
first
don't
try.
understand. I have to be slow with molasses. That's what it's called being a set piece.
I move faster than that, and I'm a robot.
Just be glad that the developers are not forcing us to squeeze through a small gap in the rocks.
Still is technically a thing, but it was definitely prevalent. And you know what? I get it. Back then, they really wanted to showcase how realistic certain movements could be in games, but I think we can agree that in a game that allows you to double jump, you don't need to go into the realism of how slow in real life someone would be with ledge grabbing.
Because it's super funny considering that Devil May Cry is actually one of the few franchises that tries to justify why there will be a double jump by having Dante create glyphs that he can use as extra platforms. Sure, it's still a thing in universe, but it's better than just the character casually making a second carambole, in the midair.
And I'll give Crash Bandicoot credit. Typically, Crash's double jump is just widely agreed to be an ability he got thanks to his mutations, which, I mean, the Death Tornado was a thing, so why not?
So, but, what does that mean for the bazooka?
Oh, that's just Aku Aku stocking him up.
Oh, sure. The Ringo bazooka was given by the Ancient Mask. Okay.
Remember, at some point, Aku Aku, I believe, in the manual Crash Bandicoot 1 is actually described to be a mask being controlled by a friendly witch doctor. Before that just got retconned to being, nah, it's just the mask.
I mean, that's the kind of joke that I was kind of making for a while, in saying that if we ever got a Crash Bandicoot tied movie, it would be a prequel that shows Aku Aku and Uka Uka while they're in human forms. Eventually them fighting each other and dying and transferring their souls to the masks.
Oh, would it be Surfing Dracula style, where it's like at the
basically
tail
just
end?
ends with Crash, landing on the beach. Because that wasn't the point of the movie. That was just to showcase the origin story of Aku Aku and Uka Uka that is being told to you very easily in-game.
Crash... How Crash has been treated baffles me. Crash was big. I mean super big. Big to the point where a lot of people mistakenly think he was the official PlayStation mascot, even into, the 6th gen of gaming, even though he wasn't even, exclusive to PlayStation by that point. It baffles me that almost everyone who owned him after Universal just treated him badly. Activision barely used him. I mean, they used him terribly, but still. And Microsoft hasn't really used him. It's Crash is a big name. He could arguably be big enough to get a movie's worth of an audience in, and yet people barely do anything with him.
Considering how long it took for the Minecraft movie to actually be done, it's more of a case where, and how did Paramount Plus Halo TV show turned out to be. I get the idea that Microsoft is not particularly giving a lot of commitment to adaptation from games that they possess.
I already
Shame.
had one pest hole
Although,
in
can you
my
imagine if they somehow tried to do a dark, gritty reboot of Crash Bandicoot? Like, how even? It turns out Crash was actually a human before he was mutated
It
into
was
a
actually Dr.
Bandicoot.
Cortex's son that he never got. Wasn't there like a couple of
Yeah, and,
Sonic
and-
theories or comics that tried to suggest that Sonic was actually Robotnik's son that was actually saved by being transferred into a hedgehog or something?
and Crash's friends, they're actually code names for like the vehicles he drives.
And it turns out Tana is
weapons.
his. And it turns out Sana is his sexy girlfriend, who was also turned into a Bandicoot.
Hypergates will give you an instant speed burst.
Speaking of vehicles, the gyro thing that the smuggler told you is fine, but clearly just gimmicky as a vehicle given. I kind of miss the holobike, if I have to be honest. But
Yeah, like this is,
especially because
of
you
course.
just careen like that.
Why would you do that? Game?
Oh,
I
in
hate
case you're
when-
wondering, yes, its movements can potentially be adjusted well if you use the 6-axis. But you know what?
Of
No,
course.
I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Let's not. But okay. Given that this game was made with 6-axis in mind, that would explain why for the vehicle section they chose to do a rollerball, because hey, when in doubt with motion controls, put your character into a rolling ball. Like
Basically.
Sonic, Mario, Crash. Well, okay, Crash I don't think ever got
Spyro.
the chance unless... Spyro definitely did, yeah.
In
But
at
I don't
least
recall...
in a Hero's Tale, I forgot if it was also in the GBA games.
I forget if in Titans or oh right. In Mind Over Mutant there is that one mutant that does roll into a ball. I think motion controls may have been used for the Wii version. Don't quote me on
Alright,
that.
it's time for having finally the reveal on what the supposed secret of a Lombax is.
This is where the coordinates lead. Looks like an old bunker.
What do these symbols mean?
Can't read Lombax either, huh? Sorry. It says, in this room, a secret born. To quell the
Actually, that's a good
Ratchet
question.
storm.
Why can't
Travel
Ratchet
far.
read
He
Lombax? I
wasn't
guess he was
raised,
just
Out of
not
dance,
raised
Yeah.
with them.
Ends here.
But of course, we recognize his DNA.
I hope your long journey has been rewarding.
You know, it's funny that they treat it like, oh, Ratchet has all this Lombax lore he never knew about, even though the original trilogy suggested he knew Lombax is just fine enough.
What? You've got to be kidding me. We come all this way and there's nothing here.
Ooh, looky here. It's one of those ancient holovid players. We used to watch old episodes
Don't
of
touch
Lance
it.
and Janice on
Why
the
everyone
birthday.
watches Lance and Janice in this galaxy?
It's the one universal
Alright, let's see
concept.
what is evil.
Congratulations, soldier. The Center for Advanced Lombax Research has selected you as the beta tester for the most important invention in Lombax history, the Dimensionator. Built by 8 of the brightest minds in Lombax history, the Dimensionator's ergonomic design is the culmination of nearly 3 Arcturian cycles of research. Now, with your help, we will finally end the Cragmite's long reign of terror. But before you begin,
By
it is
wiping
vital
them
you
out.
observe the following
We're
safety
the good
guidelines.
guys.
If you are pregnant, have a heart condition, or are allergic to interdimensional travel, please consult a physician before using the Dimensionator. Should you be inadvertently warped to the dimension of the Xanatharian death weasels, remain calm and access the pepper spray located in your beta
Oh
test
no.
kit. In the unlikely event that the Dimensionator creates a time-space
That's
singularity
another
and tears the
universal.
fabric of the universe asunder, please
We
log in
will
to
have to
debug
wait
and notify
until
the
we
programmer
prepare for that,
immediately.
don't worry.
Following this orientation, please
Yeah,
report
I'm
to
sure
our
that'll
testing
help.
facility on planet Sargasso for live training and deployment. Good luck, and farewell from the Center for Advanced Lombax Research.
The weapon used to vaporize the Cragmites was a hat. Oh, come on. There's no way a Lombax would invent something that ridiculous.
Oh, really? What about your nuclear-powered rocket sled? your antimatter bathroom buddy. And let us not forget about the electroshock undergarments you invented last fall.
Okay, yeah, this is another thing they add in. Apparently Ratchet makes these kooky inventions, even though we have never, ever seen him do that before.
But we still know that he was a good mechanic in the original trilogy and was prone to actually try to fix stuff, you know, that he had.
The thing was...
doesn't necessarily equate to making weird pants.
Like, okay, he was kind of like, you know, the cool jock mechanic, but he was never the nerdy inventor scientist. If anything, that feels closer to something Clank would ask him to do rather than something he'd do on his own volition. Which, again, this probably tethers into, you know, different writer, different things he wanted to do. I guess it just feels weird because this is definitely a tell, don't show moment here. Like, the most we see even of this game of Ratchet being a bit nerdy is when he wants to, like, reconfigure the ship at the start, but we never see him going out of his way to make crazy gadgets or inventions.
Unless, you know, what they're implying is that the final upgrades that the Gadgetron weapons that he get, you know, evolve into is stuff that he's applying instead of, you know, being automatic.
That would actually be cool. And a way to, you know, explain why we get the upgrades in the midst of battle too and everything. Though, from what I recall, they've never come out and said that
No,
yet,
not that I remember at the very least. Anyway, there's a lot to talk also about the supposed weapon that the Lombax built to the Dimensionator, but we will have time in the next part where we reach the planet Sargasso. So see you for that.
See ya.